Hey guys, in this video we're going to create these 4 web UI designs in Figma. We're also going to leverage an amazing resource in order to create these backgrounds. However, feel free to use any backgrounds which you want, since you're going to find a lot of them on sites like Unsplash, Pixabay, and many other resources online. Now without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So let's get started and let's create the frame in which we're going to contain these concepts. So we're going to go with desktop 14 by 40 as usual. We're going to change the name of the artboard. Now, as you can see, I already have some assets which I created based on an amazing kit which is called Loops by Anton Mishin, and I'm going to leave the link in the description. It's basically, as you can see, a kit which allows you to have both animated and static backgrounds, and you can find it directly here on UI8, and it just looks amazing in my opinion. So essentially the kit, as you can see, it's comprised of all sorts of different elements, and you can mix and match and change the elements essentially. Actually, let me go over here, and you can move them around, and then you can export them and create your very own background. So really cool. I created these set of backgrounds, and we're going to use them for this specific tutorial. However, feel free to use similar backgrounds or backgrounds that you can find also on other resources. There's plenty of resources out there to create similar effects. So let's go ahead over here, and I'm just adding this very first background. As you can see, we're going to start playing around with typography in just a moment. I just want to kind of get the overall layout structured well, and what we're gonna do over here is we're going to add some text. So let's make the text smaller. So it's going to be 150. Do that for a start, and we're going to write in Supreme, and we're going to make this white. All right, let's make it smaller. As you can see, I was already playing around with some fonts, and we're using Avenir LT Sans or STD, and otherwise you can actually use something like Montserrat. That could work pretty well in my opinion. So kind of like a similar feeling for these kind of layouts. Want to go with something which is you know, fun but also bold and strong at the same time. So let's go over here, let's write the headline. So and let's bring it over here, let's center it, and let's make it bigger and bold. All right, so this is already starting to go in a good direction. Let's make the logo quite smaller. Don't want all the emphasis to go on the actual text. Let's bring this one here, and let's make it a little bit smaller. So yeah, that will do. So let's also add some drop shadows. And as you can see, this is already starting to look pretty interesting. Now what we definitely want to do is to have some sort of menu on the top. And we're going to have the about. Let's make it smaller, and we're going to go with just bold and not black in this instance. Let's bring it over here, and let's make this one services, this one contacts, and we're also going to have one which is the actual login. So, or get started. And this one's going to be a button which we're going to use. All right, so far so good. Let's sample the same color. And actually, since we want to usually give the call to actions a different color, which is complementary ideally to the other colors, in order to really make it stand out and maximize the chances that it's going to be clicked, we're going to go with something around these lines. Maybe like a orange. And let's also add a shadow. So let's go ahead over here. Let's make just a little bit of a drop shadow. And I think we're pretty much good to go. Another thing that we want to definitely add, actually, let's give it a bit of a different tint. Yeah, just one step lighter, that will do. And we also want to add a section over here, which is going to essentially say, scroll down. And let's center this one. And let's go ahead on Nucleo app. Let's open it up. And we're going to search for a arrow. So let's go right here and we're going to select this arrow, since we want to keep things simple. And that will do pretty much. All right. So far, so good. Let's give it a little bit of emphasis on this word. Oh, that didn't really work. Maybe something around these lines. Not 100% sure about it, but could work. Maybe if we change this one up as well. Yep, that's looking interesting overall. So, all right, we got a first screen. Now let's go ahead and let's play around with more opportunities that we have at our disposal with this amazing kit. So let's create a version of this where this one's going to be left aligned. And let's bring down the size of the font just a little bit. We're going to freestyle on this one. We're not really going to go ahead and create the layout grids, just because we want to freestyle. Once in a while, it's good to do. But again, guys, if you're working on client projects, it's always important to keep everything fresh and clean when it comes to the design files. All right, it's looking interesting. And let's try and give this some sort of a color around these lines. That would it can be pretty interesting. Maybe we want to keep it a little bit lighter. Something around these lines. That will do. And over here, let's make this one white. And let's make the call to action either the same color or maybe something a little bit less invasive in color-wise. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, maybe something around these lines could work. Still not 100% sure about it. So actually, let's go ahead and let's try something lighter. It's a tough one, and the reason why it's a bit tougher than usual is because we have all of these different colors which are mixing around. So we want to figure out something which kind of stands in between. So one thing that we can do is just make this one black. All right, that'll do. And same for this one. Now let's try and make this one lighter. All right, so for the time being, I think we're doing okay. Not great, but my opinion, but it's definitely heading towards somewhere. Okay, cool. So far, so good, I guess. So yeah, we're definitely heading towards a good direction. I'm still wondering if black is going to be the better choice here, or we want to go ahead with something lighter. But for the time being, I think this is looking pretty interesting, especially if you put them side by side. You have two different variations of this, which are quite cool. And I'm probably going to go with the black logo just because I want to give the logo quite a bit of visual emphasis, generally speaking. Now let's just create another version of this. And we're going to center and have this different background instead. No idea what I did, but it looks pretty cool. Okay, so let's copy and paste the styles of this one. And I'm just going to also copy and paste all the other elements, since they're in line with this specific style. And here we go. All right. So this is the kind of work that you would usually do with clients, just creating variations of the same concept, since those are always good to brainstorm new ideas. And seeing different concepts side by side, it's always good. It always helps to kind of give perspective to certain elements. And yeah, so it's always important to experiment in the design industry. So let's go over here. Let's try and mimic the same thing that we've done. Of course, we need to change the text. And let's make all of it left aligned. Probably we're just going to bring it a little bit on the side. So yeah, this is looking pretty cool. So yeah, overall, quite happy with this. So as you can see, with different backgrounds, we need to adjust the layouts and really try and maximize the opportunities when it comes to the composition. So I hope this video is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.